Hello, my name is Philip Tyrone with Evergreen Financial Counseling. A common question we get is, do I need a bankruptcy attorney to file bankruptcy? What are the pros and cons? I'm here with Jamie Miller. He runs Miller Law, the largest bankruptcy filer in Wisconsin. Jamie, how would you answer that? Pros and cons.
I mean, yes, you can definitely file a bankruptcy on your own. You can do it pro se. Here in Wisconsin, we have a bankruptcy help desk that can help people get through the process. But bankruptcy Chapter 7 has become more complicated. The lawyers in my office will say that they'd rather file Chapter 13s than Chapter 7s. But there's a lot to be aware of in the Chapter 7 world. And many people, for instance, don't know what those possible problems are until you talk to a lawyer. And one of the things that we're seeing now that's crucial is that if you remember just after COVID, many people received PPP loans. And unfortunately, we had a lot of people that were taken advantage of and got PPP loans, even though they didn't have a business, maybe somebody in the community kind of shepherded them through the process to get a PPP loan, and you have to be aware of that. Have you inherited money? Did you transfer any money or property away from yourself? Have you gambled? There is a litany of questions that you need to know about before you file because you could open a can of worms by filing a bankruptcy without a lawyer. So I can't yet. Yes, it can be an investment. Yes, it's going to cost money to hire a lawyer, but the savings that you're going to have in stress and time is well worth that investment.
Well, and also, we have a lot of people that come to us, you know, that are filing pro se with Evergreen Financial Counseling because they got to take that first course and the second course, approve the Department of Justice. And, when you're talking about 15, 20, 25, $30,000 in debt, you make a mistake and some of it doesn't get discharged. I mean, it's like a big problem, right? And we see it over and over, and people call us and say, "Hey, what about this nuance of the bankruptcy law?" And we're like, "We're not lawyers. Talk to an attorney." I mean, the reality is first of all, the barrier to do a bankruptcy talking to get legal advice is so low because every bankruptcy attorney out there offers free consultations, right? So you can throw it out there and you meet with someone like you, Miller Law, and you find out, you say, hey, I'm thinking about filing pro se. I mean, if you're thinking about filing pro se, you should tell the bankruptcy attorney about it because the bankruptcy attorney can then point to where there's possible concerns. And you make one mistake, you have to repay the filing fees and you got to start the whole process over, right? I mean, we've seen this. You and I have been in the bankruptcy business for so many years. There's no surprises in when we hear those stories.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, I have a case that just came across my desk now
Yeah.
today. So this debtor filed a bankruptcy 2 years ago and received the discharge.
Mhm.
And we worked, hard with the debtor to make sure, did you disclose all the information? And he ended up filing bankruptcy on his own. He did not disclose the fact that he had a 19 something Pinto, right? An old car. He didn't really realize he had to disclose it. Fast forward 2 years later, he breaks up with his girlfriend. His girlfriend knows that he has this Pinto. The girlfriend calls the U.S. trustee
Oh,
and says, "Hey, do you know this client has a Pinto?" So the U.S. trustee just filed a motion objecting, seeking to revoke the discharge. Now, had this person
um,
had hired us, I
right,
would have said, and actually had us file the bankruptcy for him. Do you have any cars? Did you disclose everything? Are you hiding anything?
right.
Because we can list that Pinto and
Mhm.
that Pinto is going to be protected. But if you don't list it, you're going to get the death penalty and your case is not going to be
So
discharged.
this client filed pro se and now it's coming back because of a Pinto. I mean, how much is that Pinto worth? Like,
$6,500.
my gosh. Oh my God, the
Right. And
death.
it's so frustrating because Had he disclosed it,
Yeah.
we would have exempted it. He would have received his discharge. It's no problem.
Yeah.
But 2 years after the fact, when you have that scorned spouse or
Yeah.
friend or girlfriend that all of a sudden wants to cause harm, they reach out to the court and say, you didn't disclose this. So it's not the fact that he didn't do it
Yeah.
intentionally, is not the issue. It's the fact that he didn't disclose it. When he went to his 341 hearing and they asked, do you have any more cars? And you're speaking under penalties of perjury. You need to be prepared for that. You
Yeah.
need to make sure that your taxes are consistent with your bankruptcy petition. You need to make sure that your
Wow.
bank statements are consistent with what you file in the petition. Everybody is self-employed now. Everyone's
Yeah.
doing some level of gig work,
Yeah.
don't know how to properly disclose that. If you're doing gig work, you need to have a P&L, and that P&L needs to actually reflect your income and expenses. And if you don't do it, just that little thing, and it could be $100 or a $200 mistake, they're looking to find a way for you not to get your discharge.
This is one of the reasons why there aren't many new attorneys coming into the bankruptcy world, right? Because it's complicated. It's not like it was 15, 20 years ago with a Chapter 7. You have to understand the bankruptcy world. And if attorneys are not going into bankruptcy, I mean, the number of bankruptcy attorneys does not grow like other legal professions. Imagine someone doing it themselves. And everyone, I had a client one time ask us, "Oh, with a lot with the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, we'll have a digital wallet. I don't have to disclose." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like you talk to an attorney, and that's the net of it. I mean, that's net. And besides that, like with Miller Law, you give them a way to you're teaching them how to rebuild their credit score. You're going to review their credit report for errors. 42% of people, debtors that file bankruptcy have an error on their credit report. One error, right? Something that's easily fixed. I mean, these are things you're going to teach them how to get a mortgage at normal rates, a car at normal rates. And this is what good bankruptcy attorneys will do for you. And that's why that's our argument on bankruptcy attorneys, why the pros and cons of them. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's very fair. I mean, we have so many clients that come to us and they have judgments on their credit, judgments in circuit court here, and they file bankruptcy. If they file pro se, it's 2025. In 2027, they may want to go buy that house. They go to buy that house, a title report comes up, and it shows they still have that judgment.
Yeah.
Well, they really haven't advanced themselves
Yeah.
since 2025. And what a shame. That's 2 years of your life that had you invested 2,000 or 3,000 in a lawyer, you would have resolved this problem that you're having, 2 years, 2 years later.
Yeah. Jamie Miller Law out of Wisconsin. Jamie, thank you for your time and thanks for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you, Phil.